Welcome to Big B Daily. No frauds allowed.
Hello, hello, hello. What's going on, good people? This is Big B. Thanks for joining the Big B Daily Show, man. What is going on today? We are live here on YouTube, live on TikTok. Thank you guys for joining the show. A lot of things going on in the sports world today. Today, we got another special guest coming in. My man CJ, he breaks down NFL quarterbacks for a living, so he'll be joining the show right after one of our favorite segments, Fraud of the Week. We got a plenty of people that can pick from, a plethora of people to pick from for Fraud of the Week. There's several, but we will get to that and more. So again, thank you guys for joining. If you're on TikTok, like I mentioned, and you're not already following, give me a follow and then click on the link on TikTok. We're looking for 3,500 likes and at least 30 follows. So keep tapping that screen. We'll get more people in here to interact. Let's get it going. I appreciate all the support, but more importantly, hit that button or the link in my bio. Go subscribe to Big B Sports Talk over on YouTube and join that chat. So let's get it on. First thing, the Braves. Did anybody catch that game yesterday, that baseball game yesterday? That was nuts. I thought the Braves were finished. I thought they were finished. I thought the Phillies were going to beat them, and there was no way Atlanta's going to Philly and winning 2 games. No way. So the Braves, a crazy comeback, and then to win the game that way on that kind of double play, the guy goes back and what was Bryce Harper even thinking? I mean, what's he doing? So that was just bad baseball. Pay attention. I know what he's trying to do. He was trying, if the guy didn't catch the ball, he was trying to score. I'm like, man, that ball, if he didn't catch it, it was going to bounce away. Just straddle second base. You don't have to be on the other side of second base. But he was, and he got caught. Craziness. But that was a great baseball game yesterday. I caught from the 5th inning on. 5th inning on. So Braves battle back. Great win. So preseason NBA. Now, you all know me. Again, moving on. Y'all know that I usually don't pay attention to really any NBA stuff until Christmas. And especially preseason NBA basketball. I just can't do it. However, I thought it was interesting. The old Wemby versus Chet game yesterday. The Spurs against Oklahoma City. Anybody happen to catch it? Anybody catch the highlights? I thought it was funny because, first of all, both guys combined, soaking wet, weigh about 200 pounds. They weigh about 200 pounds. So I guess this is the new NBA, man. These super tall, super skinny guys. Because there ain't no way either one of them are going to be able to put on any weight. So not a ton of weight. They don't have the frame for it. So, but they're both good. Wemby and Chet can play, man. They can play. So you got to give them their due. They can play. I liked it. I definitely liked it. So anybody else happened to catch the game in the comments? Yeah, I don't know. Somebody on TikTok asking the question. Yeah, I don't know. But I like Wemby. Y'all think Wemby's going to be good? You think he's going to have a good career? I don't think he's going to be the second coming of anything. But I think he's going to have a pretty good career. All right. Again, like I mentioned before, thank you guys for joining Big B Sports or Big B Daily Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Central Time. Make sure everybody joins. If you're on TikTok, please give me a follow. And then click the link in the bio and shoot on over to YouTube, man. Subscribe to Big B Sports Talk on YouTube and join the chat over there. So let's get to it. Fraud of the week. Fraud of the week. There are so many people to choose from for fraud of the week, man. Where do you start? Where do you start? You could go Miami with Mario Cristobal not knowing what the hell. I mean, oh my God. Has no idea what he's doing. No clue what he's doing. A lot of people are saying Texas. I'm like, Texas, that's not a fraud of the week. Texas is still a really good team. They just got beat by a good team. That doesn't qualify for fraud of the week. Now, some people are saying Notre Dame. Now you're disrespecting my Louisville Cardinals. I don't like that. I don't like that. Not Notre Dame. Okay? What else we got? I mean, we might as well not mess around with it. Let's just get to it. The absolute fraud of the week are the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys. Could it be anybody but the Dallas Cowboys? I mean, you talk about total destruction. Just total destruction. The YouTube, by the way, is Big B Sports Talk, man. Just total destruction. They went to San Francisco and got their head beaten in. It just got beat like they stole something. They should be ashamed of themselves. People calling Micah Parsons the new Lawrence Taylor. You didn't even know the man played. George Kittle and Trent Williams, they just kept running at him, blocked him one-on-one, beat him up. He had one tackle. One tackle. Didn't even know that he was playing in the game, man. Terrible. Just terrible. Look at people on TikTok getting after it. I appreciate it, man. Thank you for subscribing. I do appreciate it. And the live over there, the chat over there might be better than on TikTok, so you may want to join. So, all right, man, we got our partner that breaks down NFL quarterbacks for a living joining the chat right now. He's going to be joining me on YouTube. You'll be able to hear him on TikTok, my man CJ. CJ, what is going on, brother?
And how you doing, Big B?
I am doing all right. I got you in at the tail end of fraud of the week, man. You tell me, am I off base at all at what we saw on Sunday night?
So the last time we saw the Cowboys on Sunday night, they were abusing the New York Football Giants to the tune of 40-0.
Yes.
7 sacks. Everyone had something to say. And you know what happened this time? You know why they're the biggest frauds of the entire NFL season? People were calling Brock Purdy Joe Montana on the broadcast. That's when you know that you didn't do the job you came there to do. There is nothing worse than having a Hall of Famer, one of the greatest of anything, mentioned with Mr. Irrelevant. And that's no shade to Brock Purdy. That's just how poor Dallas was on that night.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That was pathetic. Look, and a lot of people are going to beat up Dak and blame Dak for this loss. Now, it's been my understanding. First of all, Dak played bad, but they were beat before Dak started throwing all those picks. Dallas was beat. Now, he didn't help them because they couldn't score. They couldn't move the ball at all. I blame some play calling. Dak panicked, but the defense couldn't do anything with the 49ers. They were going through them like a hot knife through butter. But having said that, break down Dak's play for us, CJ.
So Dak is in a position where Dak is not exceptional. And what I mean by that is there's some guys, whether it's Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, et cetera, that can overcome bad play calling, overcome guys dropping passes, overcome guys not getting open. Dak can't do that. So Dak didn't play well, but you could tell he was pressing in the second half because, to be candid, let's go ahead and get it out there. His defensive line is a bunch of front runners. They only play well when they're ahead because they just want to pin their ears back and rush the passer. They don't want to get dirty.
Nope.
So Dak gets blamed, and he didn't play well, but Dak was not their issue on Sunday night. It was that defensive line that got manhandled consistently.
And the one thing about it, last year the Cowboys couldn't stop the run. They didn't address that. They drafted a guy from Michigan, and they overreached for basically a mid-round guy, and they drafted him in the first round.
Yep.
He has no business going in the first round. I mean, he's in the rotation, but he's not doing anything. He didn't do a ton at Michigan either. There were several times. You want to put that TCU game on from last year. He was getting manhandled inside. So the Cowboys got what they deserved. Dak gets all the blame. Look, you get all the blame when you're the Dallas quarterback, and you get all the credit. And Dak deserves it because he didn't help him, but he didn't play well. But he wasn't the key to them losing. He was not the key. Like I said, I think that game was over in the first quarter, man. On the flip side, Brock Purdy. How good is it now time that everybody says, CJ, Brock Purdy is good? Is it time that we just cut the cord and just say he's good?
I'm going to answer this as succinctly as possible. Brock Purdy has been exceptional at doing exactly what he's been asked to do, and even a little more. Brock Purdy is perfect for that offense. Now, this is going to sound like shade to Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy is not going to elevate past the guys who can elevate. He's not going to elevate in that situation where San Francisco has always needed someone. The reason they reached for Trey Lance, which is when you play Patrick Mahomes in a big game. Right. Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow. He's not that guy. And that's not to be expected. You don't go in the 7th round because you had exceptional measurables or did something in college that was exceptional. What he's done is maximized what's been asked of him, and kudos to him. Even if he gets MVP votes, he deserves them, but Brock Purdy is not on the level of where they're trying to put him. When I heard Joe Montana get mentioned with Brock Purdy, I was a little upset, and that's not his fault.
That's right. It's not his fault. He's doing what they're asking him to do. He's doing it exceptionally well, but let's pump the brake. First of all, me personally, I think Joe Montana is the greatest quarterback ever. I have him above Tom Brady. I think Joe Montana is the best ever. So nobody belongs being mentioned with him. But especially Brock Purdy after, 10 starts? Come on, man. You got to do better than that. And again, I like what he's doing. I think he's doing a great job, but let's pump the brakes a little bit. Pump the brakes. Couple of things that I saw this week. Somebody that you already see the narrative starting to pop up again is, here's a question here though for you, CJ. Is Burrow back or just a beneficiary of a favorable matchup against Arizona?
I think two things can be true. I think that was a good get-right game for him. He went over the top of a secondary that had been playing. They shelled over but never actually got depth. So he took advantage of that. But honestly, he's not back 100% yet. You can tell because Joe Burrow still didn't look comfortable. What he looked was functional. He could actually move in the pocket. He took off for one run and got some yards, but he's not back. And I'm hoping that they're doing this whole progression with him so that he doesn't injure that calf again because it can get worse. But he's not back to 100% yet.
Gotcha. That's what it kind of looked like for me. Arizona's back end is bad anyway. I mean, they're bad. So, yeah, that was a great question, MNG Sinister. I appreciate that, man. But, yeah, I think what they were doing, plus they didn't even have T. Higgins out there either. So they were forcing the ball to Jamar Chase, and he was open. They allowed him to get that open. So, but again, Arizona's roster is bad, especially on the defensive side. They're bad.
They've outkicked their coverage. They've outplayed what they have offered. Again, their starting quarterback arrived 9 days before the first game. They've done a great job of what they have on that roster.
Absolutely. So you're starting to see the narrative. The national shows are already starting to talk about it. Lamar Jackson. As a guy that's a Steelers fan, and watched every snap, for the first 2.5 quarters, Lamar Jackson was on his A game. Lamar Jackson was doing his thing. He can't help that guys are dropping touchdown passes. I will admit, the last quarter, he played bad. He played bad. You can't. There was a sack that he took, should have stepped up, a forced fumble. That pick in the end zone was horrendous. Now, you don't know if it was supposed to be I blame the formation more than anything for that pick. Who throws back or fades in the end zone out of the shotgun? That's not what you do. There wasn't enough yards. There wasn't enough. I mean, they were on the 4-yard line. You can't throw a fade from the shotgun like that. The receiver doesn't have enough room. So, but that's just me talking. But tell me what you thought of Lamar Jackson, because going into the game, outside of the Colts game, and even then he had some drops. He's had the most in the league. He's played good. He's played very good. Tell me what you thought about Lamar Jackson Sunday.
So what I saw, at least when I was watching the game, was the same thing I've seen with Lamar. And it's going to sound like an excuse, but it's actually what I see as the truth. Lamar starts to panic not because he's a panicker, but because things are so convoluted early on that in the fourth quarter, he's like, okay, I guess I have to be Superman. And he starts making decisions that don't really vibe with what's going on. Yeah. I have seen nothing innovative whatsoever from this offense. Monken coming in. It looks, you know what it looks like? It looks like he took Greg Roman's playbook and decided to just, instead of making everything be condensed, move guys out a little further. But it's the same exact playbook. There's nothing that's changed. And I don't know if that's a Harbaugh wants to be more of a pound and thump, run the ball guy, or if it's Lamar saying he wants a certain type of offense. But there's no easy answers, and there's drops. That's a terrible combination.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, yeah, because like I said, people, I mean, again, I'm a diehard fan of the first place Pittsburgh Steelers, I might add, CJ. The first place Pittsburgh Steelers. I'll throw that out there. The thing about it is, if they catch 2 of those 3 touchdown passes, and I include the one to Butterfingers himself, Nelson Aguilar, because that was going to be a touchdown. I mean, that was going to be a touchdown. Yeah. If that happens, they blow the Steelers out. The Steelers aren't scoring. They're not making that game close.
No.
I mean, now it happened. It's just like, and then people won't watch the game and they'll just look at Lamar's stats and look at a couple key plays and they'll say he played terrible. I'm like, yeah, no, he didn't. He didn't play terrible at all. 8 drops. You can even say the other one to Zay Flowers, where he needed to readjust to a ball that again could have been a touchdown, and he just fell down. I don't know that I've ever seen that from an NFL wide receiver.
Well, I haven't seen it from one as good as him. I'll put it like that. And he is going to be really good. But listen, there's 2 guys that they don't play the same, but they have the same exact issues, even if they don't look the same. Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, they're asked to be Superman, and they both just start trying to do stuff in the fourth quarter. Lamar needs certain types of help. Josh needs certain types of help. But both run into that in the fourth quarter. They just try to do way too much. And then people say, well, they panicked, this or that. You know what? Neither's Patrick Mahomes. That's their issue.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah, exactly. And you saw Patrick Mahomes. And I mean, he did it again. Now, Minnesota's defense is not very good, but Kelsey couldn't run. Their receivers are below average at best. And they just keep doing his thing. He just keeps doing his thing. It's crazy. A lot of people said they got bailed out. I'm like, I don't know if they got bailed out, whatever. But he was still moving the ball. They were up 14 points, and Mahomes, to me, is so far ahead of the best quarterbacks, it's not even funny. That's me talking. You break them down for a living. You tell us, my man.
Here's why, to me, he's so far ahead. It feels like he's just like, okay, easy mode, easy mode. He has all the extra stuff that those guys I just mentioned have, except what we tried to be sold on at one point last year about someone said that Joe Burrow was the better quarterback or the best quarterback in the league because he's ahead of it thinking and all this. Things are so slow for Patrick Mahomes that I've literally only seen this dude panic 1 out of every 7 times he should.
Yeah.
And that's to keep not having your safety blanket, i.e. Travis Kelce, which is not the same as having a number 1 wide receiver. Those 2 things are completely different. Yes. He's got his binky, but he doesn't have a dude who can just say, I'm taking this game over. He doesn't have an A.J. Brown, a Stephon Diggs, or Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. If he had that, which when he did, what did they do? They put up big numbers.
Correct.
Didn't have him, put up big numbers. The guy's built different.
He's built different. He's just built different. And it's not all Andy Reid. I'm going to give Andy Reid a lot of credit because he devises plays. He does. But you got to have the talent. You got to have the talent because Andy Reid was still the same guy with Alex Smith. He was still the same guy with Donovan McNabb. Both good quarterbacks. I mean, both of those guys are good quarterbacks. They weren't doing this. They weren't doing this kind of stuff.
So there's two things that really good coaches do, and they do it differently. Obviously, everyone has their own style. One, they inspire people to actually try to be the best them, right? Go and give that extra effort. But two, they allow them to be the best version of themselves. Andy Reid devises these plays. He even says it. Some of my players give me these plays. Like I didn't come up with all of them. I just allow them to run it at practice. Then we can actually execute it in a game. He's not coming up with all this. He's not the mad scientist. What he is an exceptional head coach because he lets those guys be the best version of them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Before I get you out of here, I know you got to run. Again, tell me, a lot of people are asking about how good is Tua? Is it the guys around him or is it him? Is it Mike McDaniels? How good is Tua?
So Tua falls in a category of quote unquote game manager. Some of the greatest quarterbacks of all time have been game managers. It's maximizing what they do. Tua makes really good decisions very quickly, and he's anticipates like a champ. So how good is he? He's as good as the pieces they put around him, which are exceptional. Not every quarterback in the NFL could do what Tua does with those pieces. They couldn't do Drew Brees does with those pieces. What he's not a guy who's going to go above and beyond the X's and O's, but if you give him a game plan and it works, he will run it to an exceptional level. And that's what he's been doing, getting the ball out of his hands in stride to those guys. That's what he is, a high-end game manager. And you can actually win a Super Bowl with a high-end game manager as long as he doesn't drop the ball when pressure gets on him. And I don't think Tua will.
Got it. Yeah, I like Tua, man. I like what they're doing. I like the position that they're putting him in. And he's doing an exceptional job. Anybody this weekend that you saw that played well? Because we know the ones that played bad. I mean, we can go on and on about that. But anybody that you saw that played well, other than, the obvious mentions, I know Jalen Hurts was out there doing his thing. How good is Jalen Hurts? I guess that's a better question. How good is Jalen Hurts right now?
Jalen Hurts is really good right now. And you know why Jalen Hurts is really good right now? People forget he lost all of the stuff. He lost his OC. He's constantly losing people. Now, not the pieces around him, but he's constantly losing people, and he's still able to adjust. The Eagles haven't looked good for a whole game, and they're still 5-0. And you know what? Jalen Hurts, when they've asked him to make plays late in the game, which is what you need from your quarterback. You don't need gaudy numbers. What you need is a guy to show up when you need him. He's answered the bell every time this year, and that shows that he's grown into a guy who can consistently be depended on.
Got it. I totally understand. I appreciate you, man. Tell everybody where they can find you again.
Sure. So my personal brand, Chopping It Up with CJ, it's my podcast. I do 4 different types of episodes on that, 4 a week, and I drop that. I'm also on stuff like here. And if you're in the New York tri-state area, I am on Pix 11, the CW affiliate up there doing fantasy football on NY Blitz.
Got it, man. I appreciate you making the time. We'll see you again next week. We'll bring it on. We may even break down some college quarterbacks because a lot of people that are on the Big B Daily Show, they ask about college quarterbacks, man. And I'll be interested to pick your brain next week about it because there's a couple that people talk about, and I'm like, yeah, I know he's good in college, but I don't know. So I appreciate you, my man. Thank you.
Thank you. And just as a little teaser, there's a guy who's always mentioned with Caleb Williams. He's barely in my top 5, if at all.
Okay. I like it, man. Well, we will catch you next week. Thank you, CJ.
All right. Thanks, Big B.
Yep. All right, man. I appreciate you guys. That is my man, CJ. He is always available to talk to us. He breaks down quarterbacks for a living. He literally breaks down quarterbacks for a living. So thank you guys for participating in any of that. So let's dive in here to the Q&A section, my people, and let's see what we got going on. So TikTok, again, man, keep tapping that screen. Keep tapping that screen. We got to get to 3,500 likes, and we got to get to 30 follows. So if you're not following, give me a follow. I would appreciate it. So Cowboys are not taking it all this year. We already said the Cowboys were the fraud of the week. Cowboys were the absolute fraud of the week. Let's go over to YouTube. What do we got? Thoughts on Coach Austin publicly stating there are no plans to start JPJ, which is Joey Porter Jr. I'm fed up. I'm fed up with it. I mean, why did you draft him 32nd if you're not going to play him? And I'll be honest, Patrick Peterson needs to sit down. Him or Levi Wallace. They got one of the two got to sit down. Play the kid. Play the kid. Let him get real reps. It's unbelievable what they're doing. I just don't understand it. I just don't understand it. And if I know nothing, why are you in here? If I know nothing, why are you in here? But you love me. That's why you're in here. Do. How about them cards from my man Bradley Ellis? Daggone right. Daggone right. These cards. Louisville Cardinals. Moving on up. Moving on up. That's a good win against Notre Dame. That's a big win. Big win. Trayvon Johnson, my man. Bone-on-bone violence. I think their play style is unhealthy for a full NBA season. Talking about Wemby and Chet. Yeah, you're right. You're right. And I mean, hopefully they can put on 25 to 30 pounds apiece. I mean, they're both young. Throw on 25 to 30 pounds of muscle. Let their bodies fill out. Because again, what are they, 21? They're not even in their grown man years yet. Let them fill out a little bit. It's like I said, 200 pounds soaking wet combined. But they got skill, though. They got a lot of skill. They got a lot of skill. The Bengals will not make the playoffs. Man, I don't know. I think the Bengals are going to start hitting their stride. They start slow every year. They start slow every year. Oh, you said like Stetson Bennett, who came out at 25. He was in college 6 years and still didn't get a degree. Evan Kramer. He won't be a Hall of Famer, but he'll be solid. I'm not sure who you're talking about, Evan. Talking about Purdy? Let's see. My man Rob Johnson. Micah Parsons is a sore loser. He just makes excuses. I agree with that. Like I said, we didn't even know if Micah Parsons played on Sunday night. He literally did nothing. He did nothing. He was not a factor. CJ's right. That defensive line for Dallas, all they want to do is rush the passer. They don't want to stop the run. And if they do, it's against a bad offensive line like the Giants. They just so overrated, the Cowboys, man. It's sickening. It's sickening. My man Austin Shoot. All the talk this year in the NFL was parity. There seemed to be 3 or 4 teams in their own class. The rest has some real issues. That's about right. 49ers, Eagles, Chiefs. Everybody else got issues. Everybody else has issues. I mean, I know people want to throw the Dolphins in there, but the Dolphins got defensive issues. They do. They got issues. So, things that got to get cleaned up. Again, my man over on YouTube, Trayvon Johnson. Cowboys got gassed up after beating 3 bad teams. They lost to a mid Cardinals team at best. Yeah, are the Cardinals even mid? Cowboys got slaughtered. Literally got slaughtered. It was ugly. It was ugly. What's going on over here on TikTok? We're getting closer. Again, thank you guys for joining the show. As a reminder, Big B Daily Show, Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Central Time. Live on TikTok, live on YouTube. The Raiders can make the playoffs. Come on, man. No. Is the Bills' season over after they lost Milano? Their season's not over, but it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult. But the Bills' season is definitely not over, but it's going to be a hell of a lot more difficult. So, do I think Travis Kelce will be out for a while? I don't know if he'll be out for a while, but I got a feeling Travis Kelce misses Thursday. So, but he may not, because I think their bye week is the week after. So if he plays Thursday, I don't know. I think he sits out Thursday, plus the bye week gives him even more time to heal. That would be the smart thing to do. So, my man Austin, the greatest QB of all time, Brady, also did everything he was asked and no more. Why is it crazy that Purdy could be very successful? I don't think it's crazy that Purdy could be very successful. Again, he's doing exactly what they are asking him to do. Now, Brady became the greatest of all time because he did more than what they were just asking him to do. Okay? Let's not kid ourselves. Brady became that guy. And then nobody's saying Purdy can't, but it's way, way too early for him to even be in those conversations. But I like Purdy. I definitely like Purdy. He's playing well. We got to get over the Purdy is just this. Purdy is good. Uh-oh. Somebody said Joe Montana was the greatest of all time. Yes, he was. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. MNG Sinister. The first place Pittsburgh Steelers, that's what he meant to type. He didn't type that out. Live by Rule 22. 22 points and under, they're going to win. 23 and up, the Steelers taking an L. Yeah, you're probably right. That's how Mike Tomlin wants to win right now. I don't know if that's sustainable. Matter of fact, I'm positive it's not. I'm positive my first place Pittsburgh Steelers, that's not sustainable. So we'll see. Let's see. What else we got over here? What's going on, Jerry Polk? I see you, my man. Question from Dallas. Then all of a sudden, over here on YouTube. Can the Dodgers come back and win in 5? I don't think so. I think the Dodgers get swept. This is getting old. It's getting old. The Dodgers, every year, the Dodgers win 100 games, lose in the first round of the playoffs. My goodness. How does Dave Roberts still have a job? Unbelievable. Does RPO's the new offense of the NFL? Is it the new offense of the NFL? No, I mean, I think it's 50-50. But you're not going to see Burrow. You're not going to see Mahomes running that. There's a lot of guys you're not going to see doing that. Josh Allen will. Lamar will. Even Herbert from time to time will. I think some of those guys, you got to incorporate it because they can move so well. You got to incorporate it. So, let's see what else we got. The gentleman, my man CJ, said Caleb isn't in the top 5. He didn't say that. He said he had another person that they're mentioning with Caleb that is not in his top 5. So that's what he said. He didn't say Caleb wasn't in the top 5. He said there's another guy that they're comparing to Caleb Williams that he doesn't have in his top 5. Yeah. I'm pretty sure CJ thinks that Caleb, like most people, that Caleb is the top quarterback and coming out in the draft. I look like Warren Sapp? Okay. I don't know if that's good or bad, but I'll say okay. Same way Tomlin has his job. Tomlin has, yeah, you could say that. Tomlin's got his job because he keeps winning at a mediocre rate and doesn't have a losing season. So he keeps his job. At some point, that's got to change. At some point, that's got to change. So, why do you like more Arizona Diamondbacks, or who do you like more, Arizona Diamondbacks or Atlanta? I like the Braves. I said before the playoffs started, I think the Braves are the best team in baseball, and they were going to win the World Series. So, losing one game doesn't change that. I mean, most teams don't go undefeated in the postseason. Most teams don't go undefeated in the postseason. Gavin Bryan agrees because he says, how about them Braves? Absolutely. Absolutely. Evan Kramer, first time catching me online, man. Normally watch Rico's show, but he did his this morning. Would love to hear your reasoning on why you have Joe Montana as the greatest quarterback of all time. Keep up the grind. Well, I appreciate it, Evan. Here's my thing about Montana is Montana, for his era, was spectacular. Pinpoint accuracy. Didn't have a cannon, but, I mean, he got the ball everywhere he needed to get it, and he won. He could get you in and out of good football plays. I mean, his accuracy, like I mentioned, was just pinpoint. And in the big game, he played his best. In the big game, he played his best. He never played bad. You get to the Super Bowl, he never played bad. Not once. Not once did he play bad. And you can say that a couple of the Super Bowls, Brady didn't play great. That never happened with Montana. And Brady got to more, one more. I get it all. But Montana went to 4. He should have 4 Super Bowl MVPs. They gave one to Jerry Rice. That could have been Montana's. I just think Montana's a better quarterback. He was asked to do his more. Plus, the rules were different. People got to take that into consideration when you talk about who's the best and who's not. The rules were way different. You could beat up receivers. You could beat him up. Okay? You couldn't do that to Brady. You know, you can't do that to guys right now. You can barely even touch them. And you damn sure can't touch a receiver down the field. They were beating receivers up back in those days. And if you went over the middle, I mean, as long as you didn't kill the guy, whatever you did to him, it was fine. It was fine. Makes things a lot more difficult, man. Just in my opinion. Let's see. MNG Sinister at Kenneth Butler. CJ has Caleb at number 1. If other players that talked about up there with Caleb, but not even in the top 5. Yes, that's what he was saying. He didn't say Caleb wasn't number 1. My man, Coach K. Stokes, Minnesota lost their best guy for 4 weeks or more. Their playoff run is over. Well, Minnesota wasn't making the playoffs anyway. So Dallas needs a quick fix now. So you're saying trade Cousins? They're not trading Cousins. I mean, you can't trade Cousins and Dak. That's just not going to happen. Just not going to happen. The salary cap and all of that stuff, it's just not going to allow for anything like that to remotely happen. What do we got over here on TikTok, man? Keep tapping the screen. We're getting closer. We're getting closer. Still need to get to 3,500 likes and 30 follows. So if you're in here and you're not following, give me a follow. The Bengals are getting it back on track. The Bengals are definitely getting it back on track. That was a good game for the Bengals. That was a get-right game for the Bengals. Couldn't have been better for them. And without T. Higgins, too. Good game for the Bengals. Their defense played better as well. So, thoughts on the Colts? Colts are playing pretty good football, aren't they? Anthony Richardson found out you can't run through guys in the NFL. I mean, you can't run through guys in the NFL. He's not a running back. He's not built like a running back. Can't do that. But the Colts are playing better than what a lot of people, including myself, anticipated. Good for them. And with nobody running away with the division, now there's still a ton of football left. But with nobody running away with the division, they're in the mix. Let's see. What do we got? Mike DeRuler, please tell me what's going on with your Ravens. The receivers can't catch the football. I mean, the receivers can't catch the football. They got to fix that. The defense is fine. Lamar's fine. They need to be able to catch the football. That's it. If they can do that, they'll be fine. They right now, their receiving core has the most drops in the NFL to date. Unacceptable. If they figure that out, the Ravens will win the division. If they don't, they'll be battling to make the playoffs. But the one thing is, you can't blame Lamar for receivers dropping the football. You just can't do that. It's not his fault. Not his fault. So, Liberty versus Jacksonville State. Who you got? Nobody. So, I would say take Jacksonville State. But I have no clue. How many championships have the Braves won? I don't know. I'm not a Braves fan. But I'm thinking 3? 2 or 3. Yeah, 2 or 3 from the Braves. From Coach K. Stokes, my guy, MTSU, Liberty, and Appalachian State are your winners tonight. Okay. Jackson. Is Liberty going to Jacksonville State? Are they going there? Because if they are, I don't know. I don't know about Liberty. I don't know. And I know they're better. I don't know about Liberty. We'll see. Richardson's attempt to run through guys in the NFL through week 5, 1 concussion and an injured shoulder. Exactly. I mean, at some point you're going to learn you can't do that. You cannot do that. And here's the thing. His shoulder injury is going to hurt him the rest of the season. He's going to be out the rest of the season. That's an injury you just don't get over. So while he'll be able to come back and play, it's going to be hurting him for the rest of the year. He's got to be better. Kentucky versus Mizzou. Man, it's early in the week. Let's wait. We do Big B bets on Friday, but there could be guys get hurt. We don't know what's going on. It's way too early to pick games that happen on Saturday. And yeah, we were talking about the Colts quarterback, man. You got to figure it out. Stop trying to run through people. From a Dodgers fan, how many World Series title does the D-backs have? Yeah, I don't know. 1? You can't go against Coach Chadwell, who is the head coach at Liberty. I mean, you can. I don't know that I would, but you can. What do we got, TikTok? Seahawks win what? Thought it was a bad idea to start Richardson early? I did too. I thought Richardson had to get his lower body mechanics together before you put him on the field. And I think we're still right because his percentage is still bad. He's making plays. He's making a few plays, but his percentage is still horrible. So, but I think we're going to shut this one down for today, people. We are going to shut this one down for today. Thank you guys for joining in. I appreciate it. Again, Big B Daily Show, 4 p.m. Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Central Time, live on YouTube, live on TikTok. I want to thank you guys for joining the show today, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. And we will catch you guys tomorrow. You guys have a good one, man. Thank you.